What's up, guys? I am chilling. So I want to talk about something. I'm pretty comfy right now, and it has nothing to do with astrology, really. It's just in life, what I've seen from myself, from clients, from different people I know, is that you have some lessons, right? Like we're in like me and Trey talked about this. Let me sit up. We're in this like very like hyperdrive energetic time right now. We talked about this in the pod and how like it feels like we're all experiencing it, right? Everyone can relate, or most you like. I feel like most people watching this can relate that what used to feel like a day feels like, I don't know, way less now, and it's because I mean, you can say whatever you want about the reason of it, but astrologically, I've talked in my book and in different places about the 26,000 year cycle. The closer we get to the grand sun, the more time speed increases. But like even regardless of that, because that's such a huge period of time. We're in a time period where I'm just making my tea. Where like things are like really, really, really fast, right? So for some people, maybe it's you might be experiencing, like I was telling, I tried to send my friend this message, but like it got deleted. So I'm like, maybe I should just make a video out of it. Like you might find that, there's some lessons you learn that take a fucking lifetime, like it's like a whole lifetime of experiencing something and you finally learn a karmic lesson, right? And it's different for everyone. And then there's, I guess, there's experiences or whatever you want to say where it's learned over, I don't know, a few years, whatever. And I'm not referring to any type of learning experience, it can be anything in the scope of life. And then there's other ones that, it's less time, maybe a few months. And there's some where it's like a fucking day, right? And then there's other ones where it's like a moment or an hour, right? That strikes you and changes you forever. And what I'm getting at is during this period of time where everything is, like so fast, like fuck, like it's just like the days like just go and go and go and go and go. I remember when times used to feel so much more slow. And I've heard a lot of people agree with this as well. You might be put in situations where you're forced to learn some really, really, really deep karmic lessons that aren't necessarily like that complicated. Maybe they're just like little nuances in your karmic scope that, like if you think of like yourself as a puzzle, right? You want to fill in every piece of the puzzle. Let's say there's 1,000 pieces. Let's say there's a few missing pieces, and they're not even the hardest ones, like, I mean, of course the puzzle metaphor wouldn't make sense for that, but let's just say it did. There's just a few pieces missing to like completion. You might be put in positions now where you are pushed to learn these over a very, very, very short period of time. Almost just thrown into an experience, right? And whenever you experience anything in life, there's many different responses, right? The ego is always going to react, right? The ego is always going to have its initial reactions. But if you have any experience with meditation or with spirituality in general, you're going to know that, and you're going to be like, okay, this is the ego, whatever, it's doing its thing. Let it fucking, whatever. Then that goes away. Maybe the ego needs a little bit of time. I don't know, a little bit of space, a little bit of time to get its shit out. But if you have that knowing that the ego isn't everything, that's just it's very like a small marginal part of what you are, right? Then you move on. You can look at this, these lessons in different ways, right? You can look at them. Okay, what's my responsibility? That's the first question. Like, what role did I play in this? There's a lot of people that I've met who always, and they're not necessarily like a lot of times like spiritual people. Maybe people I've dealt with like in the past or people I hear about. Basically, I'm not talking about anyone in specific, but there's people who have a tendency to always just push the responsibility away, right? So the first step is like, okay, what's my role in this? Even if your role like doesn't seem like it's like that crazy, even if, and by crazy I mean like even if it doesn't seem like you like it was that big of a deal, what you like your part in whatever situation in the lesson. And it takes time. It takes introspection. The law of attraction, we attract what we are, all that stuff. What am I? Can we really look in a mirror accurately? It's very hard for one to like really, really look at themselves, right? And really, really see what maybe someone else might see. It's easy for us to look at other people and judge and like see like all like the little things about them that are off. But when it's about ourselves, it's like, we're not walking mirrors. We're not walking self mirrors. It's harder. So that's where like psychology and speaking and kind of like trying to understand it, right? So back to the thing about lessons, I think the world and just like I've known this for a long time with the astrology and with just like kind of the situation we're in. There's gonna be a need for new leaders in like the new world. And I don't mean this like new world order political leaders. Actually, quite the opposite. It's gonna be like there's gonna be lots of opportunities for people to step into positions of kind of showing other people how to grow, how to I guess be better versions of themselves. But all of that starts from that person, that teacher, accepting responsibility for what he or she is and what he or she isn't, and what role he or she has and hasn't played in different situations. Because like I don't care how enlightened you are, you're always going to be facing karma. And sometimes like the most enlightened or like whatever you want to call them, like highly spiritual people are the people that have lots of fucked up karma and they have to deal with a lot of shit, One sec. So first step, what's my role in this? What needs to be healed? What needs to be felt, right? As men especially, but just as anyone, no one likes to suffer, or no one wants to like. So like suffering is an interesting one because we don't like. So for example, let's say like I fucked up really bad, or let's say like I'm in a huge hole or something like that, right? Unconsciously, I know that I had like a huge role to play in this fuck up, and like it says something about, let's say, my childhood or like a karmic cycle or tendency I have. It's a lot easier consciously to just be like, nah, it wasn't me, like whatever, like it was just the situation. It was a nuanced situation. Damn, Esmond. But I found that a lot less suffering in the long term comes when we allow, as Rumi said, allow the fear, whatever he said, allow the fear to come in, right? Allow the fear, allow whatever that negative emotion, whatever that pain, whatever it is, allow it to come in, allow it to sit, allow it to stay with you. Don't identify with it, right? But don't push it away. Don't pretend it doesn't exist. Because when you pretend it doesn't exist, it just like builds up and becomes so, we know this, guys, it becomes so much more. It's like it takes on like an atomic, like subconscious level, or like a subconscious atomic magnitude, where it's just like building and building and building incrementally, the more we repress it, right? So letting things in that might seem unpleasant, that's the whole point of therapy. That's the whole point of healing, and what people call shadow work, which is another New Age term that I wish we had more words to describe these things, because it just sounds so cheesy. But it's basically not denying things, right? So no one's perfect. No one's meant to be perfect. No one. People who seem like they have it all together. You look at their charts; they'll have like lots of trines, lots of sextiles, maybe pretty easy charts, and there's different ideas about those, people like that. But like usually, even those people, they have their own problems. I don't care how rich someone is. Like they might have like a problem with addiction, or a problem with their like dad, or a problem with like their whatever, something within themselves, right? That just makes them feel like shit, or a trauma, right? So it's like it has nothing to do with these things. But the point I'm trying to make, and I know like this has been said so many times, I'm not bringing anything really new to the table. I'm just kind of re-emphasizing something. Is to sit with yourself, make a practice of it, and allow yourself to fucking be honest. Like, you don't have to stay stuck in behaviors and cycles that have taken you down, right? So, that's the first, that's really like the first step, the awareness. And then the work is just like, as you go through your life, right? After you've come to this like big awareness, after you've come to this big aha moment, the rest of it is just like, I don't know, figuring out how, when you're going through your life, seeing the red flags, seeing the triggers. It depends, right? I'm not getting specific with an example. So like I said, this could be any type of like experience. And yeah, just allowing things to happen, and just seeing them as they come up, seeing your tendencies, understanding that like where does it come from? Where does the cycle come from? Right? Like for me personally, I have some cycles I'm not gonna get into, but like I've had some I'm getting a better and better idea of where they come from, and then that leads you to like how to deal with them. You know what I mean? But the worst thing you can do is just take it as shame, take it as like, oh, like a situation. Let's say a situation that you perceive as like a failure. Take it as shame. Take it as like, take someone else's word for it, unless it's your therapist or someone you actually trust. Like no, go within yourself. You know what's right, and of course your ego may try to push you out of the way, but like it's really a self journey. And yeah, so you just really have to understand this, and look at your life, be very introspective, and try not to blame other people. Even if you feel like someone else did something to you, you still let that person do it, right? There's still something with your energy. Like the perfect example is like the narcissistic men with the, what's it called? Fucking forget my English. Narcissistic men with the women that have the personality disorder that I can't think of, where they're dependent women, where it's like the narcissists like obviously like are able to just like completely dominate these women, and then the women are able to get their personality, their sense of self from the narcissist, right? It's very, very common in psychology. So that's a perfect example of this. Everyone has an ability to be whole. Everyone has an ability to get past whatever karmic cycle. The first key is figuring out what the fuck it is, and then doing the stuff about it. Sometimes you have to feel like Luke Skywalker in Star Wars, where he goes into the Yoda place, the swamp, and spend some time alone and just like figure this shit out so it doesn't happen again. Because life's too short to live in suffering, guys. Like there's so much light, there's so much beauty to be experienced, and don't get down on yourself. Like don't think of you as the problem. Like there's so much beneath the surface. That's it for today, guys. Let me know in the comments what you think. If this experience is happening to you, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.